so much for coming out tonight. I greatly appreciate it. What we're going to be talking about tonight is social media and how it applies to engineers or technical professionals of any type. So as you've read any newspaper or any trade journal in the last, 2, 3, 4 years, you've all heard about social media. You know, it's an incredible phenomenon. You know that there's companies that didn't exist a couple weeks ago that show up, that get bought for $1 billion, and then a whole bunch of people apparently go off to the islands and live happy lives after that, right? So, as engineers, I'm sure that we've all heard about it. It can be a little bit confusing because social media doesn't appear to just be one thing. If it was one thing, we could handle it. If it was Yahoo or Google or something like that, fine. We go, we learn how it works, we understand what it is, we understand what the value to us, and we're good to go. But this social media thing seems to be a whole bunch of things and seems to be nothing, and it seems to be really popular with the kids, and it seems to have privacy issues, and you know, pick up a paper and there's always something about social media there. So the purpose of tonight's presentation is really twofold. Okay? The first thing that I want to do is discuss with you basically what is social media. And we're not going to talk about this in abstract terms. The question is, what is social media for you? What is the value of social media for you? And then the second thing that we're going to talk about is, look, the world of social media is about this big. Let's see if we can make it a little bit smaller. Let's see if we can identify the parts of social media that might have some value to you. And then talk about why you'd even spend the time using it, right? If you want to reconnect with everybody that you went to high school with, I've got the tool for you to do that, right? I'm not sure if there's a lot of value in that, but you have the possibility to do that now. But I'm thinking as engineers, we might have some different things that we want to accomplish. So let's take a look at those things and let's see if we can figure out which one of these crazy social media tools might be able to actually help us do that. Does that sound like a reasonable set of goals for spending a little bit of time together tonight?
Yes, sir.
You guys set a pretty high bar for me, okay, but let's see if we can make this happen, okay? All right. So, quick question for you. We'll just do this right off the bat. I put some logos up there. Let's see if we can figure out what the logos are, okay? This one would be what? Facebook. Congratulations, that was an easy one. How about this one?
Twitter.
Excellent. This one?
Pinterest.
Pinterest. Oh, we're getting some sophisticated. That one?
Google+.
Okay. Well, that'll sort of keep you going, doesn't it?
This one's
How about that one?
YouTube.
And this one?
LinkedIn.
Okay, cool. All right, so you know you've heard the terms. You know that they exist. That is fantastic. Now, one thing I would like to point out before we get started, in the center of the display up here, you'll see there's a web address. You might want to write the web address down. Now, you need to be very careful here. Capital and lower cases matter a lot. So it's HTTP Google with a dot in the middle of it, /2, capital E, capital G, lowercase a, lowercase o. That's a short URL, but it points to an online copy of all the slides that I'm going to be presenting tonight. If for some odd and strange reason you would like a copy of these slides, you'll be able to go there and get it. It should be available for about a week, and then eventually I'll run out of room and I'll delete it. But you should be able to go, good to go for about a week. All right, so let's get started and see what we're going to do tonight. Before we can have a discussion about social media, I think we both have to agree on what social media is. It is a 50-cent phrase. So what are you working on these days? Well, I'm involved in social media. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds very, very trendy. Congratulations, all right? So social media, as defined by Wikipedia, it's a means of interactions among people in which they create, share, and exchange information and ideas in virtual communities and networks. Okay, well, you know, and that's actually a pretty good definition. It's a little vague, though. So let's talk about what we're seeing here. Virtual communities and networks. I think that's actually one of the key things that really gets to the heart of what social media is. So in social media, you will interact with other people, but there's a real good chance that you're never going to meet those other people. You'll never know who they are. And just a little segue might be appropriate here. On the MTV network, they have a show called Catfish. Have you guys heard about Catfish?
That's coming from that, yeah.
I'm here to help you guys. I'm going to make you trendy. You'll be able to talk to your teens a little bit easier. Catfish, the whole purpose behind that show is people who have formed relationships with other people online, and it turns out the other person isn't who they said they were. Fake pictures, fake names, fake backgrounds. And Catfish actually brings the people together in the most disastrous way possible. It's a great show, you should watch it. There's a lot of crying, there's a lot of hugging, it's all sorts of stuff going on. But that's the concept behind these social networks. They're online communities. Now, online community almost sounds like a party line, right? Back in the day, when you pick up the phone and you're just talking to somebody, that was, back in the day, a form of an online community. In today's social network, there's actually 4 types of things you can exchange with other people in your network. The first one is obviously words, right? You can send text messages, you can exchange documents, you can exchange anything that you've written down, right? There are chat boards, there's blogs, type, words. You know, we've always been a little concerned about our kids and stuff losing the ability to communicate. You know, the internet and the social communities and stuff like that have probably helped kids do more writing for fun than they ever used to do before. So I think that is a good thing.
Create more abbreviations.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a very good point. So because they're doing so much writing, they have abbreviated everything, right? So there's LOL, which is right, and then there's TTYL. Talk to you later. And then we can spend the rest of the evening going over 1,000. You know, my parents are in the room looking over my shoulder, a whole bunch of other ones. But you're exactly correct. They've shrunk it down. Another type of media that you can exchange is photos, right? And now the question is why are photos so popular? And at this point in time, I would without my cell phone, but I have no idea where it's.
Sucker right here.
That's right. So pretty much all of our cell phones have cameras built into them, right? So it's not a matter that you actually have to hold a camera up. Do I have a camera? I do. Look, I do have a camera. I should take a picture just so we can capture the moment. So you don't actually have to have a camera anymore, right? As long as you have your cell phone with you, you're doing fine. So it gets a little bit trickier, right? Because not only do you have your cell phone with you, but now all of a sudden you snap a picture and you can upload it to your social media, right? And all of a sudden then the rest of the world gets to see perhaps the dinner that you're having, something cute that your cat just did, or some celebrity doing something they really should be doing. That is exactly correct. And once it's out there, you can't take it back. Now can you? Kids?
Really,
It's all
really
learned.
good for data center guys.
What's that?
It really causes a data center growth.
That is exactly correct. Now, music is another type of media that we can exchange in social networks. All right? And the thought of music is, remember, for what, 10, 12 years, we've been able to rip music, turn it from an audio form into a digital format. And what's the format most popular? MP3, exactly. And they're pretty small files. If you're just talking about a song, even an album, generally speaking, really isn't all that large, right? And so what happens there is that you can exchange music. There's one particular social media site called MySpace. Anybody ever heard of MySpace? MySpace was huge back in the day. It was really the dominant social media site. It got bought for $1 zillion by Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation, which promptly mismanaged it and turned it into a pile of rubble, really, pretty much, right? And I think they eventually just sold it to some sort of investment house. A popular singer by the name of Justin Timberlake is currently working with the people who own MySpace to basically try to resurrect it and bring it back. Its almost complete focus going forward is going to be on music. So it's going to be a social media site pretty much focused on music, ability to connect with artists and listen to the latest tunes and all that sort of stuff like that. So music is huge. And finally, video. Video is very, very big. We all have what, broadband connections to the house, right? Plenty of space and bandwidth coming in. Video is very, very popular. The same camera that takes, a shot can also go ahead and certainly take a short video without any problems whatsoever, right?
No.
There's a very popular service that just became available a few months ago. It's called Vines. Has anybody heard about Vines? Okay. So what Vines is, it's the ability to exchange 6-second videos. Now that's a really short video. You would think there'd be no value to that. What's up? 6 seconds? What the heck? Well, guess what? Kids seem to love this. They can do stupid stuff in 6 seconds, and their friends can see it in a heartbeat, right? Now, the good folks at Facebook know about this and using a company that they bought a little while ago called Instagram. Now, they have that capability. So you're going to see a lot more, probably on the news, 6-second videos that start to go viral. People doing stupid stuff in 6 seconds, stuff like that. So just words, photos, music, and video basically make up the type of information that get exchanged in social media. So if you have a preference, if you really like photos, there's social media sites for that. If you're more of a word person, and then of course there's sites that combine all of these together. So that's what social media is. So why should engineers bother with social media? Come on. Our lives are already complicated. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and isn't this social media stuff just really for kids? And the answer is no. There is actually a great deal of value in social media for us as engineers. Specifically, there's 4 types of questions that we can address with social media that can help us. First off, answers. You know, I can only speak for myself, but I, amazingly enough, don't know everything, right? So in my job, oftentimes what will happen is I'll encounter a situation where there's something that I don't have an answer to. Now, if I'm going to go look for the answer, my options are somewhat limited, right? So I can look in the books that I have access to, I can ask my coworkers, and then perhaps I have a network of people that I've worked with in the past that I've remained in contact so I could reach out to them. Total size of the number of people I could possibly get in touch with, 20, 25, maybe. And depending on the problem that I'm facing, they may not have the expertise, they may not have the knowledge to be able to solve it. The interesting thing about social networks is that if you join a social network and if you build up a network, if you connect to a lot of people, potentially there's a lot of really smart people out there that can help you solve your engineering problems, and they'll do it for free. All you really have to do is ask them. It gets even more exciting when you realize that in a lot of the fields that we work in, there are some recognized people who are the best at whatever we're talking about. And if they're the best, they may be part of your network. And if they're part of your network, you can go to them and ask them about whatever your problem is. And you're getting a good answer from them. Second one is questions. So what do engineers like to do? Well, we like it when people come and tell us we're smart, right? Wow, you're so smart. What a great idea. What a neat design. Wow, I would not have thought of that myself. If you join a social network, and you tell everybody you're an engineer, and you tell everybody what your expertise is. I'm in power, I'm in computers, I'm in IT, whatever your skill set is. People will come to you and they will ask you questions. They will give you a chance to answer their questions. And when you answer the questions, the cool thing is, guess what they'll do? They'll say, thank you. And that's what we like as engineers, because it makes our head actually physically get just a little bit larger every time that happens. So if you like to get the admiration of people that you'll never meet in your entire life, this is a great way to do it. Number 3 is jobs. You have a job now. You will probably not retire from that job. Maybe. I don't know. You may not retire from that job. You may need another job in the future. You may want another job in the future. Social networks are the way you find jobs today. Back in the day, if you were looking for a job, what would you do? You'd get the paper, you'd open it up, you'd look at the help wanted, right? Those ads are all gone. They're junk in terms of what engineers go looking for. Today we go online. Today we go to social networks. Today we advertise to the world I'm available, and the recruiters come and find us. It's a very, very powerful tool, and it's very efficient. You really want to go shopping around for the best job that's available for you. That's great. And finally, number 4, learning. We always want to be learning new things. We became technical professionals because we were attracted to a field that said, listen, we will teach you some things, we will give you some tools, and then you can use those tools to go solve things. We like that. That sounded great. What they didn't tell us is that everything changes. So the things that you learned at university, or even the things that you learned a couple years ago, it's junk now. I am the world's best COBOL programmer. And that is almost completely useless. Sorry, great, it was good in the day, but not so good now, right? So learning is a critical thing that we as engineers need to always stay up on, right? And it's hard to do. One of the big things that we struggle with is that there's so much that we could possibly be learning. The question is, well, where should we spend our limited amount of time? Well, the cool thing about social networks is if there's a buzz, if people are talking about something, then all of a sudden you're going to have sort of a pointer that says this might be a hot topic. Perhaps you should invest some time. If there's somebody who really seems to be quite knowledgeable about it and they're in your network, you can ask them questions. Hey, I'd like to find out more about that. Where should I start? If I have some questions, can I come back to you? Oh, sure, come back to me. Ask me questions because I like to answer things, right? So answers, questions, jobs, and learning are pretty much the 4 key reasons that as an engineer, you might be interested in investing the time to find out more about the social networking thing. There's a clear benefit for you. What's in it for me? This is what's in it for you. Okay, so real quickly, how many different types of social media are there out there? This is a snapshot. It's probably not complete, but it's pretty good. You look at it and you just sort of go, oh my God, really? You know, the next question is, where do I start, right? So what do we have here? Well, we see Facebook and we see Twitter over here. There's social networks other, which is interesting enough, LinkedIn, Plaxo, Okra, if you're in Brazil, that's really, really hot, Google+. Then there's a whole bunch of things like social intelligence, who's using the stuff, social business software if you want to analyze who's doing stuff, community platforms, build your own social network if you want to, social TV, and it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on. So not only are there social networks, but there's things built on top of social networks. Have you heard of a company called Zynga? Okay? Zynga is a little company that came out of nowhere, and it's worth $1 zillion today. Zynga created online games, and their games really aren't all that good, okay? But they built them inside of Facebook. So people who were in Facebook anyway kept stumbling across these Zynga games. Mafia Wars, Farmville, Fishville, all sorts of vills, okay? And they became valued at $1 zillion by Wall Street because they really found them in the right place. Are they up here? They are? Yeah. It's like Zynga's right there. So, if you want to get active in every social network out there, rock and roll. Here you go. I'll give you a map, okay? This is a little bit too much, and actually this is one of the reasons why I think a lot of engineers don't get active in social media. It's just overwhelming. Where should I start? What should I do? Why should I bother, right? So let's see if we can take this and boil it down to make it a little bit easier to understand. Here's the trick to social media. Social media, the very first word in social media is social. So the value of any given social media network lies in how many other people are there. It's like a party. Would you want to go to the party where you're the only person there? No, that's gonna be so lousy. Would you want to go to a party where there's only you and one other person? Well, I mean, it depends on who the other person is. Yeah. Let's assume another boring person like you. Yeah. What kind of party do you want to go to? You want to go to a big party, right? There'll be some boring people there, but there should be some interesting people, right? You've got options. Well, that's the same thing with the social networks. If you're going to participate in a social network, you probably want to participate in the large ones, the active ones, the ones where you have the best chance of running into all the people that you went to high school in, right? There is an exception to this one. If you're a nuclear engineer who's involved in cleaning or decommissioning nuclear power plants, and there's a social network for nuclear engineers who are involved in the cleaning or decommissioning of nuclear power plants, go ahead and join it. I don't care if there's just 4 people, right? But the 4 of you can talk about what you do forever and ever, right? But for the rest of us, who just want to connect with other people who have similar interests about cats and dogs and politics and house colors and all that sort of stuff, this is the way that we probably want to do this. So take a look and see what sort of our statistics are here. Facebook blows everybody else away. Roughly 60% of the people who are involved in social media are on Facebook. Okay? Number 2 position at about 25% is YouTube. So number 2 is half of number 1. Then what happens after that is we fall off a cliff, right? Twitter, who's number 3, only has about 1 or maybe 2% in comparison. Now, mind you, Twitter still has hundreds of millions of people using it. So we're really talking about some very, very large numbers here. Okay, so Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, a little bit of Yahoo Answers, LinkedIn, Google, Tumblr, a couple other ones tagged in Instagram. You can draw a line there and say, listen, these are the social media platforms that I probably should spend my time on. There's a lot more out there, and over time there will probably be more that show up out of nowhere and stuff like that. But for right now, investing time in these platforms is going to yield the greatest return, the greatest benefit to you. So clearly, Facebook is where you guys go. Quick question here: who's on Facebook already? All right, we got some people. Okay, the rest of you probably need to get on Facebook. Okay, just to put your foot in the water, sort of see what it's all about. You'll be surprised what happens. Your mom will connect with you. It's like, wow, what are you doing there, Mom? I've not been there for years. All right. So, as much as hopefully tonight you're going to get out of our presentation a good understanding of social media and a good understanding of what you can get out of social media, there is a darker side to social media. It could be a gigantic black hole. It could suck up all of your available time and give you no benefit for having invested the time. And I feel that this image captures that most adroitly. If you love your cat, you could go on Facebook and tell everybody, I like my cat. You could go on Twitter and say, by the way, currently I'm playing with my cat. You could, of course, shoot a video of your cat and say, look what my cat can do. Go to LinkedIn and say, by the way, one of my skills is I'm really good at training cats. Instagram, here's a hipster, I've dressed my cat up. Look at this, how cool is this? Pinterest, by the way, I'm going to show you how to make the cat dance, and it goes on and on and on. And for all of that effort, the world is not a better place. So be careful. It's a powerful tool, but it can also be a gigantic time drain. So just be careful. You have a note of caution from me. Don't you be coming back to me in a month saying, I've lost my spouse, I've lost my job, but I've got 10,000 followers on, whatever, Twitter. Okay. All right, so if we're going to talk about the social media stuff, let's start from a point. And we're going to start from a point that's all about you. The question is if you're going to invest some time in getting knowledgeable about social media, the question is why? Why would you waste your valuable time? Well, there's got to be something in it for you. Now, we talked about the 4 things. If what you want to do is network, expand the world of engineers and knowledgeable professionals that you're in contact with, you've got 4 contacts there. LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, and Facebook are all probably pretty good candidates for you to spend some time with that's going to allow you to connect with more people. If your goal is to get questions answered, Twitter, YouTube, and Google+ are probably great information repositories that may already have the answer to the question that you're trying to get answered. Job search, hands down, it's LinkedIn. Facebook's showing up as like a number 2 these days. If you want to learn new things, YouTube is fabulous, and then Twitter is also a pretty good way to get in contact with people who know things that you might want to know. So you probably want to pick one of these 4 questions, determine which one is most important to you, what do you want to do, maybe what you want to do first, and then based on that, you know where you can start to explore the world of social media. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's take a look at the different social media platforms. We're going to go stepping through. I was going to do something live and dynamic, but I can't get on the network here. But that's okay. It doesn't matter. We're prepared because I'm an engineer. All right? So we're going to show you this stuff. Once again, all the slides that I'm presenting tonight are available to you. You can download them with no problems whatsoever. All right. So Facebook. First off, before we dive into Facebook, let's talk about what Facebook is. Okay? Facebook's the 900-pound gorilla in the room. Okay? It's absolutely. They made movies about the founding of Facebook. You know it's got to be bigger than that. Okay, so they've got daily active users up to 665 million people are wasting time on Facebook every day. Okay, monthly active users is over 1.1 billion. Mobile is becoming huge. You know when you see everybody walking around pounding on their little cell phones, you know what they're doing? They're doing Facebook stuff. So be it. 751 users. 189 million active users, and now it's 30% of their ad revenue. Huge stuff going on in there. All right, so let's see what this Facebook thing actually looks like. So this is my Facebook homepage. And it can be a little bit overwhelming first glance. Let's sort of take a look at it and see if we can sort of break it down. Perhaps I can explain to you what's going on here. So over on this side, let's start in the center. This is what they call your timeline, okay? So what happens in Facebook is that you connect with other people. You connect with people that you know. In my case, sadly, it is people that I went to high school with. I had no idea. They were there and they were suggested to me, so I accepted them as friends. Family members, perhaps people that you work with. anybody that you know, you can add to your network. Now when you do that, those people go through their day and they will update their Facebook status. Hey, look what my cat did, right? And when they do that, when they update their status, it shows up on your timeline. So you have this sort of scrolling diary of what's going on in the lives of everybody that you know. And if you update something, it goes in there also. Hey, look what my dog did. It goes in there, right? So the timeline is just sort of this constant sort of what's going on in everybody's lives. You'd be amazed at how small the lives of everybody that you know is actually, okay? Now over here on the left, this is where things get sort of interesting. So favorites, pages, apps, and groups, okay? So favorites is basically jumping off points to other things. What do we have? Messages, events, photos, find friends, and find pages. You can search Facebook for other stuff. You can get in contact with friends. Pages, these are pages that I go to quite often. I can click on there. Pages are static entities. Companies can have pages, people can have pages. Here's my cat, here's everything about my cat, et cetera, et cetera. Apps, you can get to like games and things like that, and they truly are pieces of software that you can run. And then groups are groups of people within Facebook that created a group. People who love cats, people who love white cats, people who love gray cats, whatever the story is. Anybody can create a group, people can join that group, and then they can talk about whatever they happen to like to talk about. Okay? Over here on the right-hand side, this is where things get very interesting. So this is a list of probably all the people that are in my Facebook network. My network isn't that large because I don't do that much on Facebook. One of the things, let's see if you can see this or not. There's a little green dot right there. What that means is that person is online right now when I captured this image, right? And then I think there's these other images indicate people are currently offline. I think it even tells me how long they've been offline, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, something like that. So that's pretty much everybody in my network. Okay, so really you sort of start hopefully getting the feel of exactly what this is. It's a very social entity. Now up here, you'll see that there's these three basically icon images. Let's talk about what those are. The first one is friend requests. Remember, it's a social media tool. What it wants you to do is to make your network larger and larger and larger, with the thought being that the bigger the network is, the more time you'll spend on Facebook because you have to keep logging on to see what's going on in everybody else's life, right? So these people want to have me add them to my network, okay? And then it says, hey, I must know some people who know some other people. And it's saying, hey, as long as these other people that you know this person, do you happen to know this person? See this one, it says 1 mutual friend, this one it says 4 mutual friends, this one it says 5 mutual friends. They say, hey, why don't you go ahead and send them an invitation to join your network, making it bigger and bigger and bigger. So Facebook is always looking for opportunities to make recommendations to you to grow your network. There's also an inbox, okay? So basically there's an email system inside of Facebook. You can send messages to people who are in your network, and they can send messages to you. Standard email. But the thing with Facebook, of course, is that you don't have to go outside of Facebook to have this exchange. See how sneaky they are? They're getting you inside and making it comfortable so you never have to leave Facebook. It's all part of a plot. Okay? And then finally, this is notifications. So basically, whenever somebody in your network changes their status, it's going to show up right here. Interesting enough, Carol Turner invited you to play Candy Crush Saga. My mother-in-law is playing a Facebook game. And the Facebook game, it keeps telling me, hey, why don't you come and play the Facebook game that she's playing? Pretty sneaky how this works, huh? So yeah, so you get all these sorts of updates and stuff like that. You get constant updates on what's going on in the lives of everybody in your network. So Facebook is very, very much about your network. In Facebook, you have a profile. So in other words, if somebody comes looking for you or somebody wants to find out information about you, it's all going to be based on your profile. And you get to control that. So you get to say, hey, about me, where do I work, where did I go to school, where do I live, any sort of photos. interesting thing about photos. I guess I should mention this. So somebody that I know could put a photo up. I might be in that photo. They can tag me to that photo. And that means when people look at my Facebook page, that photo will come up because it says I'm in that photo. I didn't take it, I didn't post it, but it's there, and it says that's him in that photo. So things can get sort of crazy right off the bat. These are all the things that I have actually posted right here. You can see that it goes back to when I actually joined Facebook, which I think was about 2008, perhaps when I was born. I'm not quite sure about that. Okay, and you get to pick your picture and do all sorts of stuff like that. A lot of customization. You can control how the outside world sees you in Facebook. You can decorate it and make it look however you want it to look. You control your own profile. So Facebook gives you a great deal of control over that. And once again, you always continue to see all these people over here, all the people in your network. With the thought being that if somebody you really want to talk to suddenly shows up online, you can just click on them, send them an email, and get in touch. Now Facebook keeps adding more and more functionality, trying to make it a more and more attractive place for you to spend a lot of time. And they actually do an extremely good job with it.
Jim,
Yes?
how do you get friend requests from Manila?
From where?
Manila, Philippines.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so the question is, how would you get friend requests from Manila?
Yeah, I got a bunch of them.
Okay.
Want me to be friends with them? which I
Whoever you want to
believe
date
is-
is perfectly okay with me. She comes from different. That's perfectly okay. The interesting thing is that that could be sort of a spammy thing. Okay. I don't know where you've been hanging out or anything like that, but it's entirely possible that somebody's trying to add you to the network, and if you add them or accept them, if you don't know them and you add them to the network, they may send you a lot of emails.
I delete them immediately.
There you go. You can do that. And once again, the world is spam.
Yeah, without.
How did they find you?
Yeah.
It's like a the robocalls.
I think that's
I think
Right. If you have any sort of identity online, if anybody's ever talked about you online, but probably more importantly, if somebody knows somebody that you're connected to, they may have gotten to you. That a lot of different ways it can happen.
The only person I know in Manila is the gal that opened my car door by All-Star from Manila. But other than that, I don't have any connection.
Apparently, that's all it took to form a lasting relationship, right? All right. So I bring up this shot. I'm sorry. Just a question.
I've seen a lot of advertisements on the right-hand side, uninvited advertisements. How do they get in there?
Like these right here.
Oh, that's...
No, further, on the extreme right.
Over here.
Yeah.
No. Once again, this size of the screen and all sorts of interesting things like that. You're always going to see ads in Facebook because Facebook makes literally billions of dollars off of serving up ads that are customized for you throughout their entire thing, right? That's how they make their money, just like Google. Okay? They're an advertising engine, right? They'll provide you all this great connectivity. They'll provide
So
you
they're all put in by Facebook themselves, not the individuals that are behind them?
No, actually not. And Facebook sells, actually it's interesting, if you buy ad space on Facebook, they'll allow you to niche down to a very low level who sees your ad. If I wanted males living in Tampa between the ages of 18 and 22, they'd sell it to me. And they could control that.
And they can put it in.
That's exactly right. So great question. Yeah, it's all about ads. Thank you very much. Games. Games is a huge part of Facebook. Okay, a lot of companies have been formed. They've done very well. But most of these games are what we would call social games. So it's not just something that you quietly play by yourself, but rather you play and your status is exchanged with other people, and your progress is compared to other people that you know, and you can challenge other people. You do a whole bunch of other things, but it's all very much a social type of gaming interaction.
How can you stop getting requests with like games? Is there a way to block it? I'm not gonna play those stupid games. I don't want to
I
be
think
invited.
there is, actually. I apologize, I don't know off the top of my head exactly. I think you can filter that
Or
stuff.
you go back to my homepage.
Yeah, because it would have to do with your profile. That'd be the right place to go take a peek look. Because I think there's a way you can control basically your email, your Facebook email there. I think you can filter out anything you want, and I think you can block people. You can probably also block game requests.
You can block people,
Yeah.
One thing about game requests, if you sign up, and you start getting all that spam, so I would avoid games like the plague.
But they're so fun. And actually, to a certain extent, I think you can also control whether or not the game tells everybody that you know what your current game status is. I showed you my mother-in-law's spam.
Well, I wondered that because some of the requests aren't people I really talk too much and
Nope. It sends it out to everybody in your network.
everybody.
Yeah,
So
you got
that's
it.
targeting.
And the whole idea is that the game wants more people to join and to play the game, right? It's advertising at its essence, right? What do we have here? We have Song Pop, we have Candy Crush, we have Words with Friends. You guys heard about Words with Friends?
Yeah.
What was it?
Alec Baldwin.
Was it Alec Baldwin who got kicked off an airplane, or not kicked off, but got in trouble because he was
Yeah.
playing Word with? Okay, yeah, all right. So congratulations if you want to play Alec Baldwin. That's what you knew. Farmville, we had talked about the Ville games, and it goes on. So these are very popular games. Okay, they're worth checking out just to see if you want to do something. But this is how you get it. Facebook also has its own version of a job search. Now they're sort of early on with this. They haven't quite got their act together, but they do have a lot. And as you can see, they have 2 million jobs. And they allow you to do a lot of searching as far as where it is, and what type it is, and stuff like that. Facebook is so big, and they're so rich, and they're so powerful, that this will probably turn into a very powerful tool over time. So even if it's not quite where it needs to be right now, it's probably well worth keeping an eye on, just to see where it goes. And then we talked about pages. In Facebook, anybody can set up a page. And this happens to be a page for Mike's Hard Lemonade, right? And if a company sets up a page, then they could put on their coupon deals or promotions and discussions, in this case, new flavors that are coming out, all this sort of stuff like that. And if you really like Mike's Hard Lemonade, you can like this page. And if you like this page, then every time they make a change to the status, it'll update in your timeline. You'll basically be notified when Mike's Hard Lemonade makes a change to the page. Right? So, you know, if there was some sort of organization or some sort of event that you were very interested in, you could find the Facebook page, you could like it, and then you would automatically be updated anytime they made any changes on it. All right, so that's it for Facebook. Are there any questions before we move on? Any questions about Facebook? Sir?
Well, you said something like the job system in Facebook. Would
Yeah.
LinkedIn have a better advantage with that? That's their primary target is generating jobs.
Yes. And so you bring it. The question is, hey, look, there is a job system in Facebook, but we know LinkedIn traditionally is the place you go to take a look for a job. You are exactly correct. Now, can I say that all the jobs in LinkedIn are also listed in Facebook? And I can't say that, right? Because there's different people doing different things. I would think LinkedIn might be a little bit more for the professional jobs. You might find more scrappy jobs, potentially in Facebook, just because it's collecting them from a bunch of different places. Once again, Facebook will get their act together. That will become a powerful force over time. I'm not convinced that right now there's a lot of value to it for engineers, but I think it's definitely something you want to keep your eye on to see how it evolves over time and what it turns into. Make sense? Question in the back?
Is it used as a search engine?
Yeah, so that's it's all about search engines. So keywords, location, category, subcategory.
Not just the job part. I mean, just Facebook in general. Is it
You
being
can
used?
search.
Is it being used like Google for?
Yeah, so search for
Yeah.
people, places, or things. It has a pretty powerful search capacity. You know, the question is, what are you looking for? I'm looking for somebody. How? You can find people
Products,
like that.
products, whatever. Just take
Products, you can do that also, and potentially the products would then take you to, somebody's page, but they would have to have that, they'd have to talk about that product on the page for it to show up.
Just like Google brings up Wikipedia or something. Would this bring up Wikipedia?
Now, an interesting thing, and I think this is actually sort of important, is Facebook doesn't allow Google to search Facebook. So let me say that again. Facebook doesn't allow Google to search Facebook. So when you get your Google results, there's no Facebook pages there. So, I'm sure there's a Mike's Hard Lemonade result that shows up in Google, but it's not going to have this Facebook page. It will not be there. Once again, it's two massive companies in competition with each other. Certainly Google could, and they could probably do an end run, but things would get messy very quickly. So right now you can't touch it.
Jim?
Yes.
One major thing that everybody in here may know, but if you don't, like your email, it is password protected. And so it is secure to a degree. So you have to log in order to get to your stuff.
As long as nobody breaks in, you're fine. But that does happen every so often. So yes, thank you very much. That's a very good point. All right, so now let's talk about Twitter, which is not Facebook, but it is very popular. Have you heard about people tweeting? Have you heard about people getting in trouble for what they tweet? Yeah,
of course.
It's quick, it's easy to do, and you can do something stupid in a heartbeat, right? But none of us are really famous people. Well, not yet, at least, right? So I'm not sure if we can get in that much trouble, but it's something you have to be careful of. So Twitter's the fastest growing social network in the world. So Facebook is the biggest, but Twitter's coming on strong. Remember, they're only really about 2% of the total usage, but they're growing. 44% growth, which is crazy, 288 million monthly active users. Over 500 million people use it, and this is fascinating. The major age demographic is old people, so to speak, right? Sorry, but you know, it's not the tweeny kids, although they're using it. Huh? So what is this Twitter thing? Well, Twitter is almost, I guess I would almost call it like a CB radio. Right? It's really a broadcast mechanism. You guys remember CB radio, right? I hope I'm not dating myself too much here, right? You pick up the mic and you start talking. That's what that was all about. And when you talked, everybody could hear what you said. You weren't placing a phone call, you were throwing it out there for everybody who happened to be listening. So this is what your Twitter page, homepage looks like. So right up here is where the interesting stuff is. So I'm Dr. Jim Anderson in Twitter, okay? What this says is how many tweets have I done? Somehow, I apparently have sent out 2,700 and something tweets. Apparently, I've got nothing else to do with my time. How many people follow and hang on my every word? 2,628 people. Really? Don't they have anything better to do with their lives? Okay, but that's okay. How many people do I follow? 2,603. Wow. I must be following a lot of people. They must be really important people. The answer is no. I've set up my Twitter account. So when somebody follows me, I automatically follow them. I have no idea who I'm on. Not a clue whatsoever. I only do it as a courtesy to them, right? All right, what do we have here? So who to follow? So Twitter's making recommendations based on who I am and the types of messages that I've sent out. They're saying these are other Twitter people that you might be interested in. This is trends. I captured this right around Father's Day. Dad quotes, habits that are hard to break, Happy Father's Day, UFC 161, Ultimate Fighting. All right, coming up. Let's talk about it, right? Now, right here, this is almost like the timeline thing in Facebook. These are all the tweets that people that I'm following have cranked out. And it'll go from top to bottom. The most recent one will be top, it'll push them down. So as more people send out messages, this stack just goes down, 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 down like that. So let's talk about some of the terminology that we have here. So if you're talking about Twitter, you have something called a tweet. A tweet is nothing more than a text message, okay? And there are some limitations on it. You get 140 characters or less. And inside of your text message, there's a couple special things you can do. You can do @mentions. If you put an @ sign, then what comes after that is the handle or the name of somebody else who is a Twitter user. So if you wanted to say, I went to Dr. Anderson's presentation on social media, you could put @ and then Dr. Jim Anderson. And it would go, oh, you would automatically change it. And if somebody clicked on that, I think my profile would then come up and you can find out about me. The other thing that you can do is you can put # and then a hashtag. Now if you have sharp eyes, and you've been watching things like car commercials, and maybe some movie commercials, you've probably seen that they've started putting, for example, ## Nissan or # World War Z. And what they're saying is if you're going to talk about our movie or if you're going to talk about our car, use this hashtag. If you use that hashtag, then everybody else in the world can say, show me all the text messages, all the tweets that contain that hashtag. You basically are able to cut through all the stuff that's out there and come down to just the conversation, talking about the topic that you're interested in. So it's called a hashtag. It starts with a # and then it's a phrase, no spaces. Okay? A retweet is when somebody says something really interesting to you, and you want to make sure that everybody who follows you knows about this really interesting thing that this other person says. You can retweet what they said, which is sort of quoting them, right? We won't get into it too much, but basically what you do is you just basically copy what they did, and then you put retweeted from @username.
It's sort of like forwarding an email.
It's exactly like that. Hey, guess what Paris Hilton said? Paris Hilton said, from Paris Hilton, right? Tweet ups seem like a very dangerous thing to me, basically using Twitter to meet real people in the real world. Why the heck would you do that? That's not wrong. All right, trending topics, I showed you that. So, you know, in the world of Twitter, if everybody's talking about a particular hashtag a lot, it'll move to the top of the list. Like if a big storm came along the East Coast, the storm of the century or something like that, I'm sure that people would be talking about that. What, New York City got flooded out? Remember when the hurricane went in there? I'm sure New York City flooding was a big one, stuff like that. Lists, you know, if you're following, in my case, like 2,000 people, all those 2,000 people are not the same, right? If I had a group of that 2,000 that were engineers, I could pick and choose the people in my list of 2,000 who are engineers. I could create a list of engineers, and then I could deal with just that list if I wanted to. And then promoted tweets is how Twitter makes its money. So if a company out there wants to promote a new product or something like that, Twitter will artificially make it show up on your list. It's not that popular, but they'll automatically pop it up, so it'll show up. Okay, Twitter's a mess. Following 2,000 people, talking about all, you know, it's like the thing about going to a party where everybody's talking at the same time. How are you going to have a conversation with anybody? Right? It just gets too complicated. So this has opened the door for third-party companies to make tools that allow you to sort through the madness that is Twitter. One of the more popular ones is a piece of software called Hootsuite. It's really a website, is what it is. But Hootsuite allows you to basically go and do a bunch of different things. This is my home feed, okay, which is basically just everything that everybody's saying. Remember, it's just a list of everything that everybody's ever going to say. Okay, now this is mentions. So these are all the tweets that mention Dr. Jim Anderson. Okay? Why anybody's talking about that, I'm not sure. These are what are called direct messages. Guess what? Inside of Twitter, if somebody's in your network, you can send them a message. You don't have to send it out to everybody. You can send them a specific message. Hey, what are you doing today? Hey, want to go to lunch or something like that. You can do it inside of Twitter. And then over here is sent tweets. So these, and you can see my pictures there over and over and over again. But these are all the Twitter messages that I have sent out. Now you also see, I think there's job search there and stuff like that. So for example, if I was looking to get a job with Oracle, what I could do is I could say, create basically a column and show me all the Twitter posts that have hashtag Oracle jobs in it. If anybody does a little text message that has hashtag Oracle jobs in it, throw it in that column and show it to me, because I bet it's a recruiter who has an opening at Oracle who's talking about it in Twitter, which is oftentimes where the first time that a job opening shows up. It's real time, it's very easy to do. Get in touch with me if you're interested in this job, all that sort of stuff like that. But Hootsuite allows you to control and limit and filter what you see. It's a very popular tool, completely free, no cost whatsoever. It's a website, so hootsuite.com, and you're good to go.
Is there much value to Twitter? Helps, I mean, if you discounted cell phones and stuff like that, and it was just on web browsers, is there much value to something like Twitter?
That's an excellent question. Okay, so what is the value of Twitter, right?
Well, I'm just thinking if I don't have a phone and I'm not on my computer.
If you don't have a phone and if you're not on your computer, you can see what people tweeted, but you won't see it until you get back to your computer.
Right.
Okay, but there's no problems with that. I mean, because obviously it stores it, right? You'll have to scroll through it, and you won't have the real time.
It's not real time.
Right. If I wanted to know what was going on in Syria, and people are over there are tweeting about it, I get almost like a real-time feed of ground combat in Syria or something like that, right? Just because there's people there, and they're just talking about what's going on, right? So it's an interesting way to stay on top of events that are unfolding, if that's something that's important to you. It's an interesting way to stay on top of baseball games or sports or people who are talking about a topic that you care about. You don't need to be in it real time, although it does provide you the opportunity to participate. Make sense?
So if you were broadcasting some particularly hasty morsels of information about certain companies and things like that, it could really just...
It could change markets. And you bring up a good point. So for example, if I was a Wall Street analyst, right, and I followed tech companies, right, and I thought, well, Oracle's not going to make their numbers this quarter. Oracle hasn't had their release or anything like that. I could tweet, I don't think Oracle's going to make their numbers. And if I had a lot of people following me, and if the people who are following me believe what I said, and oh, by the way, the people following me retweeted what I told them, the word that Oracle wasn't going to make their numbers could go out like a flash, and people could start selling Oracle stock in a heartbeat, right? So stuff like that does happen.
You say, why did ABB lay off 10,000 people in the last month and no one knows about it?
Paula Deen said what?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, we haven't quite worked out the rules, both in what we can say on Twitter or how we should interpret or react to what we hear on Twitter. Tom Brokaw and some of the more established journalists are saying, listen, Twitter isn't really a reliable source of information. If you want to have an update on what Paris Hilton's having for dinner or what she's wearing, this is one place you can go. But take everything you see on Twitter with a little bit of a grain of salt.
But it does, to some extent, neutralize people's ability to control presentation.
That's exactly right.
Public.
It's interesting about Twitter, and where I have seen it show up a lot, is when I go to conferences. The people running the conference will say, hey, the conference, we've set up a hashtag, which is bullshit. They haven't set up anything, right? They just pick something. We have a hashtag for this conference, EMC World 2013, or whatever the story is. If you tweet anything about it, do us a favor and include that hashtag, EMC World 2013, in your Twitter message. What it means then is they can go to their copy of Hootsuite and look and see what people are saying about the conference. Now what's interesting is I could be saying, the food sucks at EMC World 2013. And if I'm running the thing, I'm like, okay, look, I have immediate feedback that people are not happy with my conference. I need to change something. I'm sorry lunch sucked yesterday. Breakfast and lunch tomorrow will be much better, right? So you could have an immediate, if I was in attendance, I normally wouldn't have a chance to tell anybody the food sucked. But through Twitter, I might be able to get my voice heard. And there's a lot of stories out there right now about people who have plane flights that get canceled or delayed, or they have bad service, and they go on Twitter and they say, it sucks at such and such a hotel or something like that. And the hotel gets in touch with them and apologizes and gives them a free day or something like that. So it is a way to get in touch with people that generally you might not be able to get in touch with. So we're still working out the words, the rules. It's a brand new tool. I don't think we've got it all figured out. All right, YouTube. We all know about YouTube, right? Everybody's seen stuff on YouTube. Dancing cats, electrical devices, I don't know, whatever you go. Music videos, very popular, all that sort of stuff like that. 1 billion unique monthly visitors. 1 billion people go to YouTube. 6 billion hours of videos are watched every month. We waste 6 billion hours a month with this thing. All right, it's just huge. It's what's interesting about YouTube, and I had not realized this, is YouTube is the second largest search engine out there. Google's #1. YouTube is #2. I was like, search engine? What's up with that? And then I saw my 12-year-old son, who was playing some Xbox game, run into a problem where he couldn't get past some sort of level. He went to YouTube and searched, and he got some video where some kid was showing him, oh, you gotta go to the left, then you gotta shoot him here, and then you gotta... So yeah, people use it as a search engine. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that.
Right, so it's a good place for how to.
It's a very good place for us. Right. And a lot of vendors put videos out about how to use their product, right? I know I've gone there, I was like, oh, how do you use that? Kevin?
I've improved our workshop presentations by incorporating YouTube videos, and they went over really well.
Very good. So you're using it as a resource.
Very nice lady talking about breadboards.
Well, we like that too. Thank you very much. It's all in the delivery, right?
Yeah.
So YouTube, you just go to YouTube, you can just search for an engineer and stuff like that. You can also create your own channel. You can log into YouTube. And if you log into YouTube, this is what you're going to see. Over here is like recommended channels. And all channels are is somebody has uploaded a sequence of videos. Okay? What is this? This is Mandarin lessons. If you want to learn how to speak Chinese, Google Webmaster, information on Google, information on Evernote, all a bunch of different things.
Is this yours?
This is mine, yes. My Mandarin not so good right now. Over here is basically where we've got stuff about me. So I can browse channels, I can manage subscriptions. This is the one subscription I have. It's actually to an Israeli university that has some interesting technical stuff. What to watch. Then over here is basically a little control thing. If I click on that, I can pull down this. And this says, look, I can go to my channel, which is where I just was. I can manage all the videos that I've uploaded. I can subscribe to other channels. I can subscribe to other people who have uploaded their own videos. So, you know, if I'm big into dog grooming, how to properly groom your dog, and there's some dog groomer out there who keeps uploading videos of how to groom dogs, I can subscribe to their channel, and every time they updated it with a new video, I would be notified about that. Inbox, because yet again, there's a way to
paying for that?
No, completely free. Completely free. Good question. Thank you very much. Completely free.
What's the time limit on videos that you can upload?
Okay, good question. So how long can the videos that you can upload be? Is that the question?
Right.
So in a standard, normal, hey, I set up my YouTube account today, there's a limit of 15 minutes. So you can't upload anything longer than 15 minutes. But after you upload enough videos, and I apologize, I'm not sure what the magic number is, they say they can be any length. So on my particular account, I've uploaded enough videos, they don't care. So I've uploaded stuff an hour or 2 hours long without any problem whatsoever.
You would have a lot of cats.
I don't think the world can get enough. Because they do the most adorable things every single day. Yes. Inbox means that you can exchange email with other people within YouTube. Yes. If you want email, you can get email on every dang one of these. Switch accounts. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. All right, so this is my YouTube dashboard. So I have uploaded videos to YouTube. And this is where I can control those videos, I can edit them, and I can determine who can see what. So what do we got going on here? These are the videos, or actually just 4 of the videos that I've uploaded. See, it says view all, so I can get that to come up. Down here are the comments. So when you upload videos into YouTube, it also has a thing under each one of them. Anybody can comment on your video. Wow, you got the best looking cats ever. Thanks for sharing with us, etc., etc. Okay? This shows how many people have viewed my videos, 193,000. Why are they looking at my videos? Okay. And how many people have subscribed to me? 44 people have nothing better to do but subscribe to my YouTube channel. Huh?
Yeah, what do you really do that way?
Nothing. Really boring stuff. I cannot express just how boring my stuff is, and yet that's happening. So just imagine if you got involved. Boy, you could have a huge following, right? There was also statistics. This was, I think, views this month, which was 3,783, and 5 people subscribed this month. So I don't have any explanation for why these people are doing this. But basically, this gives me control over my videos. Now, this is what's called my video manager. So this is the nuts and bolts stuff. So this is, where's a good one here? Preparing for the coming energy typhoon, 5 secrets for dealing with skyrocketing energy costs. That's a presentation that I made in Kuala Lumpur. I recorded it and I uploaded it, right? 29 people have taken a look at it. I don't think anybody's had any problems with it, et cetera, et cetera. It was uploaded on June 2nd. Does it say how long? No, it does say that it's in high definition. Woohoo! But it doesn't say how long it is. But that's fine.
Yeah, it is in the lower right-hand corner of each video box.
Oh, you know, you have a very good point there. Thank you for pointing that out. So right here, completely unreadable to you. I think it's like about 35 minutes. I think is what it's 35 points. Yeah. This one's a little bit better though. It's an hour and 14 minutes. So once again, I get to upload things. All right. This is actually, I clicked actually on that one video that I just talked about. This is what it looks like when you upload a video. Okay. So you put a title, you put a description of it, you can put tags. And remember, the tags are what people use to search for it, right? Energy, data center power, scarcity, cost, budget, and so on. And then you also get to set your privacy settings. Now in YouTube, there's 3 different settings for privacy. Number 1 is private. Nobody can see it unless you allow them to. So you can have a very small group of people that you allow to see your video. Another one is unadvertised, which says really anybody can see it, but they have to have the link. Remember, the link is a whole bunch of garbage characters and stuff like that. Basically, you would have to provide the link to them. But if they provided it to somebody else, that other person could then see your video. You can stop them from doing it. Or the alternative, and this is what YouTube really likes, public, right? Anybody who can find it can see it.
Can you charge for any of this?
No, all
You
completely
can't
free.
charge, you can't make any money from this?
You can, actually. Let me think if I have shown this to you anyplace here. Hang on. I have it someplace. Maybe I have to go. Yeah, here it is. So I don't want to brag, and I know this is going to be the exciting part. So you're sitting down. That's what's important. I have made $4.18. That's money, found money right there. Who goes to Starbucks? What can you get for $4.18? Nothing, right? A cup of black coffee, right? Yeah, that's all right.
Not very good.
So here's the scoop. I told YouTube when I uploaded my videos, you can display ads over the bottom of my video if you want. That's okay with me. And every time they do that, I get a 1/100th of a cent. Clearly, get ready to quit the day job. That's pretty good money for doing nothing, right? I'm not going to
What's it cost?
That's 10,000.
What they want you to do is to do that, because the more video they get, I think they get 24 hours of video uploaded every minute, I think is what I heard, right? So more video means more people come, more people come, more people watch the videos, more people watch the videos, the ads are there, right? So that's what they get paid for.
Yeah.
Question?
This is a real tardy question. How do you upload to Facebook?
How do you upload to Facebook? It's actually really simple. Facebook says status update. And you can type in a text message, hey, I'm going off to dinner. It says, would you like to include a photo or a video or anything like that with your status update? And you can say yes, and then it says, great, where's that file located on your computer? And you select it, and then it automatically uploads it and automatically associates it with the status update that you just did. Does that make sense? So it's all about status updates.
Most of the time you upload photos from either like your hard drive or flash drive
Yeah.
from Facebook. That part there is very easy.
The only thing I've uploaded was a photo or two.
To your friend in the Philippines?
Well,
What kind of oil are you uploading?
Ah, that's okay. Well, that's fine. We can just let that go.
My original,
He's running for South Carolina.
computer, my original computer taking pictures to subscribe to Facebook.
There we go. I think that's
I have a
perfect.
friend in the Philippines. Start the
Yeah.
market collection.
This is one of the other things they give you in Facebook is analytics. You can see that you have, so each one of these are my videos. You can see how many people have actually taken a look at it, how many minutes they've actually watched it, and how much I have made off of them. $3 off of IEEE How to Build a Robot Arm, and then 96 cents off of how to use somebody's tool. So it's
How do you
pretty good stuff.
download one of these videos?
How do you upload a video?
Download it.
Download it?
From
What-
the ones that are public.
In theory, you can't. The reality of it is you can't. It's a plugin. Get a plugin for your browser,
Oh, okay.
and then you can go. It's really pretty simple. All right. I apologize. I have to pick it up a little bit. We've seen the really important ones. We've seen Facebook, we've seen Twitter, and we've seen YouTube. I'm going to sort of blow through these. Just question back.
Do you know who's looked at your video?
I don't know who. Everybody's just an incremental number. So I know how many, but I don't know who. Okay? So good question.
One thing on the YouTube, when you upload the video, you talked about an editing capability. How
Yeah.
extensive is that editing?
It's not very extensive. You can edit it a little bit. You can join videos together and create a single video and stuff like that. You can't do really fancy stuff.
Can't
you can,
crop, you can't do
Not really.
large, things like that.
No, you can change like the lighting. You can brighten it and
I
darken it.
see.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's tinkering more than
It's pretty
editing.
minor.
Yeah, and you probably, if you wanted to do any serious editing, you'd probably want to do it on your computer using a professional program.
Like clothes on the cat.
Would or change the psychedelic cat. All right, Google Plus. Google Plus isn't nearly as popular as the other ones, but the reason that it's so important is because it's Google, right? The Google guys are pretty smart. Everyone got really excited when Google Plus came out. They assumed it was a Facebook killer. It hasn't really turned out to be that, but it hasn't gone away either. And here's the trick with Google. Google has so many other properties that we all use, Gmail, YouTube, Maps, et cetera, that if they work Google Plus into those other tools, it'll actually become part of our lives whether or not we want it to.
Can you just take over IEEE aliases?
Yes, they did actually. We purchased it as a service from them, yes. So a zillion people use it. The Google +1 button, you'll start seeing showing up more stuff. You can say, hey, I like that. You click on +1, and basically it boosts something in popularity. The +1 button, this is what it looks like. So if you read this blog article and said, hey, I like it a lot, you could click the +1 button, and basically you just say, this is interesting to me. It gets indicated in Google+, enough people do that, and all of a sudden it goes to the top of the list of interesting or hot things. Okay, this is what it looks like when you go into the Google Plus dashboard. Once again, this is very much like Facebook, right? Share what's new. You can add text or photos or a link or video or what they call a hangout to it, right? This is all the sort of the timeline. So David Green from the IEEE, this is what he said. You clicked on sent an article that he thought was good. Over here, these are all the people that I know that I've identified in my Google Plus network. One of the things that Google Plus does that's very, very different from Facebook, a lot of people don't like Facebook in so much that everything you do in Facebook gets sent out to everybody in your network. You can't stop that. Google Plus heard what people said and they said, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to make it so you can set up circles. Friends, family, acquaintances, following, Homeowners Association, IEEE Florida West Coast section, IEEE headquarters, Toastmasters, and Verizon. Those are my circles. Those are the groups of people that I interact with. And what I can do is I can come along and click on one of these, and I can take it down and drop it in there. Okay, so I can add all the people in my network to a circle. Then when I update my Google Plus status, I can identify which one of these circles I want to tell about that update. If I don't tell it, then it goes out to all of them, of course. But if I went to the best party. I got so drunk at that party. Here's some photos of me drunk at that party. Friends, okay. Not acquaintances. Probably not my homeowners association. And probably not the folks at Verizon. Got it? Some things I share with some I don't share with others. Google Plus is a great place to store photos. It's their online Picasa. If you've used that at all, they've worked it into Google Plus. You know how we take all 1,001 digital photos, and what do you do with those? Store them on your computer? Put them someplace like that? A great place to do it is to upload them into Google Plus, and then they're always there. You put them in albums, and you know if you ever go looking for them, they'll actually be there.
Are they there for anybody?
No, they're just for you. You can share them if you choose to do so, but if you don't share them, then nobody else can see them.
How much storage memory?
You got it's whatever. Google says this is how much storage you have, and it's across Gmail and G Drive and Picasa. So you have a certain amount, and I apologize, I'm not quite sure what it is. 60 gig or something like that, maybe? I can't quite remember what it is.
But it's still there even if your computer crashes.
You got it. It's in the cloud, to use the 50-cent phrase. Sir?
Is there any real data on how the advertisements that are put up there are actually responded to prove the value of all?
No, but they make a lot of money, so it's got to be there.
These guys make money, but they get paid by companies.
Right. So once again, they know a lot about you, so they can target the ads pretty specifically.
Can I ask that question?
Okay, please.
This is something called machine learning. It's basically like using examples to continue those examples to generate an idea of how exactly you're posting things. So let's say you have you're always posting stuff about folks, a particular topic. People will look at that example like a child who remember that you took this post and will keep using that as a guideline to help you give you your personalized recommendation. So kind of like a machine learning your habits.
So what you're saying is that basically it will remember everything that you've done, and it will basically update your identity or your online profile, and then it'll use that when it's doing ads or delivering ads. Right?
Yeah, basically.
I just can't remember any time I've ever bought anything from an ad, because it put up any time.
Yeah, but have you ever clicked on an ad? You may not have bought, but did you click on one?
Well, Google just uses searches too. If you search on things, they start throwing that in.
Exactly.
Yeah, they do that, that's for sure.
I get a little spooky because Amazon shows up. It knows exactly what I did last in Amazon. All right. Google Plus has communities. Once again, it's social networking, right? So it's all about communities. And you can see some of the different ones here. For example, Game of Thrones. If you watch the show, if you like the show, if you want to talk about the show, if you want to talk about what's going to be on the show next week, you can join the Google Plus community where that's what they do. And I'm sure there's a community for cats. If you want to talk about cats, there's no place to go here. LinkedIn. We all wanted to get to LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn, hopefully you know about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really professional networking is what it is. It's huge. It's got over 200 million users. They went public a little while ago for $1 zillion and stuff like that. 2 new users join every second. A lot of very wealthy people making over $100,000 are actually members of it. Why use LinkedIn? It's a 130 million person database, right? If you want to connect with anybody you've ever worked with, they're probably on LinkedIn. You can brand and position yourself. You can have an identity on LinkedIn that you put yourself out as an expert. You get access to both recruiters and hiring managers. You can look and find out information about a company that you might be thinking about going to work for. And you also have the ability to take a look at both paid ads and also what are called unpaid ads, where they just, oh, by the way, we're getting ready to have this job opening. You get it early on, maybe beat the rush. And of course, saying that you're a member of LinkedIn shows any future employer that you are social media savvy, especially if you connected with them on LinkedIn. Okay? If you're hunting for a job on LinkedIn, you can join groups. LinkedIn is all about groups. There's groups of former employees of AT&T, former employees of TECO, all sorts of stuff like that. Join a group. You can answer paid job ads. It costs, I think, like $600 or something like that for somebody to post an ad on LinkedIn. You can answer free job postings. Each one of the groups has a jobs area associated. So if you're a member of the group, you can just put up their job posting for free. Okay? You can look for job ads on each one of the company's pages. So if you went and you found AT&T's page, I'll bet they have a jobs listing and they have a listing of all their openings. Remember, if you're a company and you're looking to fill a professional position, LinkedIn is the place that you want to go. You don't really want to go to Monster.com. You don't really want to go to Career Builder because there's so much crap out there, right? LinkedIn, you're sort of doing a pre-screening. You're sort of getting the professional crowd. People maybe with college degrees, people with work experience, and you can certainly find out a lot about somebody who responds to one of your job postings by taking a look at their LinkedIn, identity, maybe the resume online, and figure out whether or not you want to have a talk with them or not.
Jim?
Yes.
Another real-world example of that. I got started in LinkedIn early last year. It was just for that reason. The HR person, when they told me that my job was ending, I said, hey, I recommend this to you.
Excellent.
So I got on LinkedIn, and I also went to Monster, and I also went to Career Builder.
Excellent.
And what I ended up with was something that I stumbled onto through a reference that I found through a reference in Monster. And LinkedIn actually didn't get me in.
Is that true? So that, once again, we all have our own experiences. So I'm actually in the process of...
I think to get something out of it, you actually have to be in it long enough that you've established a lot of connections in there. You know where
There you
things
go.
are.
And that's exactly right. It's the size of your network that determines how successful you're going to be. Now, I'm actually in the process of doing a job search right now. And I've been on a job search since Monday. And today is Wednesday, right? So I've had 4 interviews so far. And I'm exclusively using LinkedIn to do it, right? One of the interviews was with Pods, people who do the little drop-off things. One today was with Intel. They found me through LinkedIn, and I've had two with 2 data center operators who also found me through LinkedIn. And remember, I have over 500 connections, so I've been working very hard to build a very big network over time. So once again, it's the size of your network, it's how much time you've invested. You can have success or not, it all sort of depends. But certainly, if you're looking for a job, LinkedIn is a social media tool you don't want to avoid. You can see expert and you can get top of mind. You can tell people in LinkedIn, I'm looking for a job, right? So it takes the guesswork out of it. This is what your LinkedIn dashboard is going to look like. Guess what? This is basically where you can do a status update. If you're looking for a job, you want to tell people that you're looking for a job, right? That's a great place to do it. This is just, I think this is just news. Over here, who has viewed your profile? In this particular case, I had 6 people take a look at my profile in the last 3 days. And oh, by the way, when they've done searches for fabulous tall people, apparently I've shown up on 17 searches. My LinkedIn network, this particular identity, is 264, so that's how big my network is. LinkedIn isn't about how many people are in your network, but how many people are in their network, right? And they're saying that 24,000 people have been added to my network of networks, basically, since June 13th. This is who's looking for me? Why do I keep showing up? So this is how often people viewed me. So you can see 20 times that day and almost 30 times that day, and it's just up and down, right? How many times?
Did you get a pay to get that?
No. I mean, I'm not paying any. This is all free. This is all free.
Who's future profile? I think that was.
Stop. Here's the scoop. You have a good point. So what this is they gave me a free access to JobSeeker. And that's when I took this screenshot, which was a while ago, probably about a year ago at this point in time, based on the size of my network. So your point is well made. You'll actually see this, but the names will be lined out. Okay? So do you really care who's searching for you? Not really. I mean, what am I going to do? Follow up with these people and stalk them? The concept is it just gives you more stats about what's going on. LinkedIn is all about your network. It's all about professionally connecting with people that either you're working with or that you've worked with in the past. You'll see that it lists it out alphabetically here. Dr. Ackerman's one of the people who's in my network. He tells me who he is, tells me what his email address is, and tells me what his current title of his job is. Right? So I'm able to reach out and get in touch with everybody. Once again, that's a very important network to have. When you ask somebody to join your network in LinkedIn, it's a 2-step thing. They get an email like this. So in this case, Trisha's asking me to join her network. If I click accept, she'll be part of my network and I will be part of her network. Right? So you can't just throw people in your network. You have to invite them and they have to accept.
So how do you uninvite them?
You can actually. You can. Actually, what happened to me the other day is a very attractive young lady sent me an invite. I pretty much accept all invites. I have no problem. So I accepted her invite. No problems with that. She sent me another email inside of LinkedIn saying, I'm a 41-year-old divorced mother of 2, but I like fly fishing and hunting. And stop. Okay, so this is not a LinkedIn conversation at this particular point in time. So then I deselected her from my network. Let me see if I can show you where.
Where do you do that?
You do it over here somewhere. I think you got clipped off. I do apologize. But you can drop people. You can drop people from your LinkedIn network. It's really actually pretty easy to do. Google it. How to drop somebody from your LinkedIn network. Don't make it terribly easy.
Look it up on their YouTube.
That's LinkedIn is all about groups. For example, here's one, IEEE USA. I belong to that group. When you bring up the group, this is what you see. It's an ongoing discussion. You see latest updates. And you see that I can actually post anything I want that will then be put into that particular group. So once again, there's like over 1 million groups. So whatever your area of expertise or professional interest is, LinkedIn is a group for you. There's company pages. So once again, company pages, and you see, for example, in this example of Verizon, they list the jobs that they're looking for. Remember, that's free for them to do it there. So, and they know that they're going to get what? High-quality professional candidates looking at this.
Where would you put your resume up?
You would put your resume up in your profile, which would be right there. Okay?
Right in the dashboard.
Yeah, so you click on profile and say, hey, would you like to edit? You say yes, and then you fill in where you went to school, all the jobs you've had, etc. I apologize. I just wanted to give you a real quick overview of what's here, but that's where you have to put it in. And what it also means is when you put your resume in, when people do searches, your resume is going to show up in their searches, right? Pinterest. All right, we're getting at the bottom of the barrel here, guys. So Pinterest is really, it's a way to share photos. It's really a photo sharing thing. It's sort of a photo sharing thing for women. It has an amazing number of people who are women who are using it. A lot of people, if they put up a photo, it'll get repinned. So interesting photos get flittered along.
A lot of crafts and artwork and decorating.
Food.
Yeah.
Here's the cover page of Pinterest. What is the most interesting thing? Food. So there's a lot as fashion and stuff like that. It's interesting. It serves a particular group of people and stuff like that. So I'm in it. And what happens is if you're into Pinterest, you can get this tool put up on your control bar. If you go to a web page and it has an interesting image, you can pin the image, which allows you to post that on your Pinterest board. You can type a little phrase, hey, we found the coolest banana split or something like that. I did a search for engineering at Pinterest, and this is what came up. So there's a bunch of people who have groups of photos that have to do with engineering. So if you have an engineer who's just posting photos or finding photos about something in particular, I'm a nuclear engineering engineer. In fact, I write a bunch of photos about how you clean or decommission a nuclear power plant. This would be a place where they can do that. You can start your own channel. I have my own 5 channels on Pinterest. So I put a photo up and I put a little description, maybe I put a link to something else. Those are just what you do. It's all about the channels. It's all about following somebody who's putting pictures up that you're actually interested in. Tumblr. If you like Pinterest, you'll like Tumblr. So 102 million. What Tumblr is, it's like a little blogging platform. It makes blogging easy. In a nutshell, that's what it is. You don't have to worry about getting a URL or doing anything fancy like that. 44.6 billion posts. Average user spends about 23 minutes on Tumblr per visit. This is what it looks like. So this is what a Tumblr blog looks like. You have a picture, you can have a little bit of text, tells you what it's filed under, and then there's a description of the author over here, and you get to put any sort of artwork that you want up there. In a nutshell, that's it. So if you're talking about something interesting that people want to follow, they can follow your blog. This is what the inside of Tumblr looks like. You'll see that up here at the top it says, hey, would you like to post something new? Is it going to be text? Is it going to be photo, quotes, links, chats, audio, video, anything like that? And over here is sort of the status. How many posts? I have, I think, like 94 posts. And how many people are following me? 20 people have nothing better to do with their lives but follow me. Because this stuff is not really terribly interesting.
Very successful here.
No, but those 20 people is sort of my greatest failure ever. So what does it look like when you're adding a Tumblr post? Well, if I said I wanted to add a photo, you would say, well, show me the photo. You can add some text to it. And then you can add some keywords. And basically, if somebody goes searching for pretty outdoor mountain view or something like that, this is what they'll be able to find. You can search for other people's blogs. So remember, you're inside Tumblr, you can do a search for something that somebody else is doing up. New movies, Game of Thrones, whatever the story is, Breaking Bad. And that's it. All right. So the purpose of tonight was twofold. Was number one, of course, to introduce you to probably the most popular types of social media. So that was number one. And then number two was hopefully to give you an insight into what you can do or what you can get out of those different social media tools. Did we cover those 2 goals?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you can go home tonight, you can log on, and then tomorrow morning shows up and you go, oh, I forgot to go to sleep. All right, well, very good. Folks, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much for spending some time with me tonight. I greatly appreciate it.
You might be asking yourself, where do I go from here? The ability to effectively manage an IT department and to do it well is a skill that your company needs you to have. It sure makes sense to invest the time and energy that it takes to become a great CIO. A simple way to start doing this is to sign up for the free The Accidental Successful CIO newsletter. This monthly publication is sent to your inbox and is overflowing with tips and techniques on how you can spend your time making the right IT decisions and really leading your department's IT professionals. We'll cover how to evaluate new technologies, how to foster relationships with other parts of the business, how to hire the right staff, how to work with the CEO so he understands just how critical IT is to his and the company's success, and we might even cover a few CIO career tips or 2. Hey, the newsletter is free, so you can't go wrong there. In the description of this video, you'll find a link that you can click on. Go ahead and click on it, and you'll be taken to a web page that will let you sign up for the newsletter. There's even a free gift in it for you when you do. Thanks for watching this video, sign up for the newsletter, and congratulations on starting your journey to accidentally becoming a successful CIO.